Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste Village experience. Namaste Village is everywhere that I am, everywhere. And we all say this, wherever I am, this is where the Namaste experience is now and forever. It's the only place it ever could be is right here, right now, in this moment. And in this moment, we realize a truth that is forever true, that there is no will but God's. This is today's lesson from A Course in Miracles. There is no will but God's. In fact, right before this session, just a few minutes before the session began, I was meditating on that lesson and something began to move through me, as so often does. And I wanted to share this because this session today in particular, and all week, has been an opportunity to dive into the uncompromising ocean of God's love. The uncompromising ocean of God's love. And we're going to continue that momentum today. So I'm going to ask you to just drink this in and do so with gusto. Don't hold anything back. This is not a time to be holding back. This is not a time to question or to wonder. This is a time to be fully revealed and to fully receive that which has always and completely received us. So this is what came through right before the session. I was feeling the ecstasy of the release into the fact that there is no will but God's. In reality, there is no will but God's. And I know that many of you have been feeling the rush of that same ecstasy, and you'll continue to feel it building inside you, this ecstatic experience until finally it just bursts wide open. And when that experience bursts wide open, the world that you thought you saw will disappear. I promise you. The world of separation, sickness, and death will be gone. But we have to give everything and allow this ecstasy to build. So this is what I typed on my phone right before. The ecstasy you're beginning to feel is just the certainty of a single goal that is shared by God. A single goal that is shared by God. Your newfound determination to accomplish this goal has created an opening in your mind that leads away from your determination to accomplish the impossible goal that you set before yourself before time began. The impossible goal that you set before yourself before time began. So what is this impossible goal? Here it is. To grow old, sick, and die, and to do that over and over again until you prove, and this has been the ego's goal from the beginning, to try to prove that there is a will other than God's. To try to prove that. So once again, the ecstasy that you're beginning to feel is the realization that there is no will but God's, that such a thing is impossible, and that God's will for you is perfect happiness, not relative happiness. The ego is satisfied with relative happiness, but you have come to the point as this ecstasy builds within you that perfect happiness is the only thing that your mind can maintain, can hold. And so we dive into this day after day after day to allow that certainty and that ecstasy to expand within us. Those of us who were fortunate to live in Wisconsin under the guidance of the master teacher know what that ecstasy is, because it's a joined group experience of whole awakening. And so this is why we come together, why we spend even a few minutes each day joined in that single intention, because the ecstasy is building to the point that it explodes into that infinite ocean of grace. And then we know only that which can be known, that God's will is perfect and whole and complete. So that being said, I want to share today's parable with all of you because I think it speaks directly into this experience. The certainty of your whole mind that there is no will but God's. But the release that we have to experience to come into a direct knowledge of this. So here we go. That evening, as Mother sat down in her cushioned chair for evening satsang, the disciples noticed a serious look on her face, one that they did not recognize. Mother sat for several minutes, looking from person to person, never holding the gaze for more than a second or two. Then she took a deep breath and said, "There's only one thing I want you to remember and to never forget. God is the essence of uncompromising love. And since you are the eternal extension of God's love, the same must be true for you." Once again, God is the essence of uncompromising love. And since you are the eternal extension of God's love, the same must be for you. It's impossible that it would not be. But the you that you believe yourself to be, I'm sorry to say, is the essence of compromised love. Because this you, the you that you believe yourself to be, still believes that there is an alternative to that which is all pervading and forever true. I'm going to go through this very slowly because it's very important that you get this. The you that you believe yourself to be is the essence of compromised love. That's the ego, the essence of compromised love, because this you still believes that there is an alternative to that which is all pervading and forever true, an alternative to the will of God. When I say that you are the extension of uncompromising love, I'm not referring to your version of you, but rather who you are in the mind of God, the truth of who you are in the mind of God. Who you are in the mind of God is held forever in the perfection in which it was created. Who you are in the mind of God is unchangeable and eternal and wholly beyond the compromises you've made to hide from the real. All I ask, dear friends, is that you cling to this reality with all your energy and strength. Let it be as a life raft that carries you across what seems to be a vast ocean, but which in reality is just a tiny puddle. The time has come for you to finally release your grip on the illusions God sees not, to finally release your grip on the illusions that God sees not. And look at last upon the heaven where love is enshrined forever as the single object and goal of your illumined mind. Here, let me tell you a story that I heard from my own teacher many years ago. In a village not far from here, there lived a humble shepherd named Amit. Amit was known throughout the village for his gentle nature and unwavering devotion to his flock. Each day, he would lead his sheep to pasture, tending to their needs and care and compassion, with care and compassion. One day, as Amit was guiding his sheep through the meadows, he stumbled upon a hidden grove bathed in golden light. Intrigued by the ethereal beauty of the place, he ventured further into the grove, his heart filled with wonder. As he wandered deeper into the grove, Amit felt a sense of peace wash over him. as if he had stepped into a realm beyond the ordinary world. And there, in the heart of the grove, he encountered a wise old sage who radiated an aura of profound love and wisdom. "Welcome, dear Amit," the sage said, his voice like a gentle breeze through the trees. "I've been expecting you." Amit bowed respectfully before the sage, his heart overflowing with gratitude. "How did you know my name, revered one?" he asked, his voice filled with wonder. The sage smiled knowingly and replied, "I know you because I see you as you truly are, an eternal extension of God's uncompromising love. You are not merely a shepherd tending to your flock. You are a divine being, infinitely cherished and held in the perfection of your creation." Amit listened intently as the sage spoke, his heart swelling with a sense of divine purpose. For the first time in his life, he understood that his true identity was not defined by the limitations of the world, but the boundless love of his creator. And so, inspired by the sage's words, Amit returned to his village with newfound sense of clarity and purpose. He tended to his sheep with even greater love and compassion, knowing that he was but a vessel through which the divine love flowed. As the years passed, Amit's reputation as a wise and compassionate shepherd spread far and wide. And though he never forgot the encounter with the sage in the hidden grove, he knew that the true essence of his being lay not in grand revelations or lofty teachings, but in the simple act of embracing the uncompromising love that flowed through him and all creation. "And so, my dear friends," Mother said, "let us heed the sage's words and cling to the reality of our divine nature with all our energy and strength. For in doing so, we awaken to the heaven where love is enshrined forever as the single object and goal of our illumined minds. And we remember that we are forever held in the perfection of God's unwavering love." God's unwavering love. Once again, this is the ecstasy that you're beginning to feel as you are lifted above this world into that unconditional, uncompromising, unwavering love. Before I bring Vicky on, I want to read one more time the first part that Mother shared, because this is exactly what we all are called to hear and to follow, not just to listen with our ears or our mind, but to drink it in and to realize that this is our safety and our saving grace, if we would but fully embrace this. Now, I realize that this may seem to come in stages. In reality, there are no stages to the awakening. There is only the uncompromising choice that you may warm up to at some point by letting go of all of those other ideas that you've claimed, the guilt that you feel at the very foundation of who you claim to be. But there is that moment where it just fully opens. And this is where Mother in this parable is guiding us. So let me read this one more time. "There is only one goal that I want you to remember and to never forget. God is the essence of uncompromising love. And since you are the eternal extension of God's love, the same must be true for you. But the you that you believe yourself to be, I'm sorry to say, is the essence of compromised love, because this you still believes that there is an alternative to that which is all pervading and forever true. You still believe, maybe even just a tiny bit, you still believe that there is an alternative to a love that is all pervading and forever true. When I say that you are the extension of uncompromising love, I'm not referring to the version of you that you claim, but rather who you are in the mind of God, where you remain forever in the mind of God, which you could never leave because you are forever in the mind of God. Who you are in the mind of God is eternal and unchangeable and wholly beyond the compromises you've made to hide from the real. All I ask, dear friends, is that you cling to this reality with all of your energy and strength. Once again, all I ask is that you cling to this reality with all of your energy and strength. Let it be as a life raft that carries you across what seems to be a vast ocean, but which in reality is just a tiny puddle. The time has come for you to finally and fully realize your grip, release your grip on the illusions that God sees not. And look at last upon the heaven where love is enshrined forever as the single object and goal of your illumined mind. So, my dear friends, this is the simple, joyous, ecstatic task that is before us now, to fully embrace that which fully embraces us now and forever. How could that be hard? How could embracing that which fully embraces us be hard? It's like someone is hugging you and you stand like this. Someone's got their arms just wrapped around you, loving you with all their energy, and we just stand like this. This is the ego standing like this. The time has come for you to reach out and to embrace that which always and forever fully embraces you. That's all this is. So, I know one person who gives fantastic hugs, and that's our dear Victoria. So, I'm going to turn it over to her. Take it away, Vicki.
Thank you, Brother James. Good morning, everybody. And it's so, I don't know, it's so heartening to see at Lucy's house. I think we all love Lucy. So
Oh,
thank you.
yeah. I love Lucy.
I love Lucy. And oh my gosh, I could say things on Lucy, but let me stick to what we're talking about today. So doesn't it always come back down to who am I? Just always that. Am I the flesh? Am I the spirit? Am I my own or do I belong to God? Am I in charge or is God in charge? Am I spirit or am I flesh? That's basically what it comes down to. And everything that's hard, it's only hard because we want something of the flesh. We want something particular, something special. It's our substitute for God. Imagine we're all busy trying to substitute for God. That's how we all got here. So now that we're here, most of us have decided, I don't think so. It's not worth it. I don't want what I thought I wanted. That tiny scrap of illusion isn't what I want anymore. That's why desire is so important. When we want only the truth, and we want that peace that passes all understanding, and we want to live into the answer. How do we learn? Each of us, we live into the answer in different ways. Like yesterday in silence, we abide ourselves into the answer. We pay attention to life full of love all around us, and we come into the answer. We listen to music that opens our heart, and we come into the truth, into the light that we are. We look in one another's eyes. These are all portals, entry places for us to find ourselves in spirit rather than in flesh, to find ourselves with no conflict. There's no conflict about anything except who I am. That's the only conflict point. I either am my own and I want what I think I want, my will, or I belong to God. I'm all his. He's my everything. I'm spirit, and I'm using this body now, and I give it to him. Actually, and was it either today's or yesterday's lesson? It said, the body is not our concern. Our concern is to reunite our will with our Creator's will. That's our only concern. Don't worry about the body. It will take care of itself, just like love and do what you will. Love, the higher law of love, will fall or filter down into whatever we think we are or have, our bodies, our houses, our relationships. The less concern we have about them, the greater our devotion is to our life as spirit. And the best part of it, while we're still here in bodies, is that there's nothing that goes against the temporal laws. The laws of love and grace work through everything effortlessly and without resistance. And we're given to experience that ourselves, not to read about it, but to find that out. So the only conflict we could possibly have is, who am I? I am a child of God. I belong to spirit. I belong to God. I don't know what's best for me here, but my creator knows. Let me find out every day, every moment. That's why every moment can be a moment of wonder. I don't know. And then coming into this, we come into it, it's true, some gradually, some all at once. It doesn't matter, and there's no accounting for it. But however we come into this, we find ourselves finally in a full immersion into wanting only one thing, wanting only to live and love and be happy in that light. That light is lilting. It's a song. It's like, oh, it's just like, it lifts us from the inside and bubbles out of us if it's the only thing we want. And it doesn't even have to be the only thing we want. It only has to be the only choice we make when the other things that we want come into our awareness. That's all. We call them the blocks to love's awareness or whatever it is. When a block or something comes up and we find resistance and we find ourselves efforting and chasing, it's just the signal that I'm in conflict again about who I am. And it's a choice again. Choose again. Choose again. Recognize the spirit or choose the flesh, one or the other. We're either doing that all the time. Recognize the spirit or choose the flesh. What do you want? Recognize the spirit. The spirit has the greater answer, the umbrella answer to everything. Why wouldn't we want that? Because we can't want it without finding it out experientially. And that's when we come together every day, we help each other live into that immersion of who I am. I am the light. I am the child of God. I am spirit. I am a soul full of my Creator's love, here to give that love. No other purpose, none. There's no, that's why you don't have to worry about tomorrow or last week. There is no other purpose, because none of those exist in the real reality. Real reality is love happening right now. And then whatever we need later, we'll step into it from today's moment of love. And no conflict. I belong to God. That's it. God's in charge. I'm so grateful. Who wouldn't be grateful to be relieved of all the burden and all the effort of trying to live in this world of time and space and by the sweat of our brow? Forget it. It's like the best news. It is the good news. We belong to spirit. We belong to love. And love has us as long as we don't resist. So when love hugs us, oh my gosh, we got to hug back. We got to hug everything. Prem sent me a good quote. Wait a minute. I'm going to read it to you. This is from Teresa of Avila, another woman that fell in love with God and almost by herself with John of the Cross. She had a total reform of it, whatever it was in the 1500s, I think, after Francis, of the Carmelites, because they had gotten very loose in having other goals. They didn't just belong to God. They wanted to have comfort and all the rest of it. And she came along and said, oh no, you can't have all that stuff by seeking for it. Those have to be the added things. And with her heart full of fire, full of God's love, just full of fire, Somehow it was given to her to be the instrument of setting straight who we are at that time. And in that time, she and John of the Cross joined together again, just like Francis and Claire, when we joined together with a single purpose to make God our everything and nothing else be the substitute, nothing else. God is our everything, and immerse ourselves in that and let it fill itself in us. What happened in the church was that the whole, and there's still a zillion Carmelite orders, they were all reformed and they came back to center, to no conflict, to being immersed in God's love only. Some of my dearest friends are all these Carmelites. They live in the love of the Lord. That's simply, we live in the love of the Lord. And every day, wherever we are in it, we get the chance to right this minute, come right back to today, right now. I live in the love of the Lord, and let that be our everything. And the full immersion into that 24/7 is what happiness looks like here on earth. It's what peace here on earth looks like. It's what joy without opposite, love, beingness is. It's the reestablishment of God's government, the government of holy oneness of love, established first through us, and then through us, like with Teresa, not just reforming an order of monastics, but bringing light to the whole sonship here in time. That's what our order's doing. Thank you, Brother James.
Vicky, I don't think you read us the Teresa quote.
Oh, I think Teresa Quote. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening. So this is her. In the beginning, it happened to me that I was ignorant of one thing. I did not know that God was in all things. And that's a radical statement at that time, because they would say, oh, pantheism or whatever. But when you get love, you see that there's no spot God is not. Every bird, every leaf, everything. Thank you. Thank you. That was the quote.
No spot that God is not. Let's take that into our day and see it everywhere, because that's what God does. And the more we imitate that whole mind, the more that whole mind embraces us. So when God wraps her arms or his arms, or however you want to view it, around you, just hug back. That's all you need to do. Just let your arms just wrap around the beloved and give it all you've got. Because when you give it all you've got, everything comes to you. The ecstasy of that experience is beyond anything of this world. So together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. E punto. Oh, Prem, it looks like it's so cold where you are.
I'm out in the rain.
We love you guys.
Thank you all.
Love you
all.
Thank you.
Oh, and let me let you know that the Laurel will be doing the session tomorrow. We're very excited about that. And I think we're almost full for the May retreat, when Vicky will be coming to Namaste Village. If there's anyone here who still thinks they want to come, you need to let us know right away. Just send an email to namaste.lakechapala@gmail.com. We love you so much. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Love you.